Hey guys, James here today and welcome to a video all about The Sims 4 build mode on console. So this is specifically on the PS4, and obviously at the beginning of the video you saw that this was sponsored by EA, so thanks guys for bringing me out to San Francisco to check out the game early, record it for you guys and show you what it's all about. Now this is going to kind of be a video for those of you that may not have played The Sims 4 as well, to sort of get a general grasp of what you can do in this game. So literally everything you can change, basically. So in case you don't know, the PC version of The Sims 4 has been out for 3 years, and this is essentially the base game from the PC on the console, which is awesome. So you can do everything you can on the PC, which is sweet. So I always think the best way to get acquainted with the build system is to actually start off with a house that already exists. So that's what I've done here. I've just picked a house that's in Oasis Springs and removed all of the items from it because I want to renovate it. I want to make it look a little bit nicer, be a little bit bigger. We need more space. I thought it was a bit too cramped. It's also really dark. I mean, well, we did remove all the lights, which of course you can do. Of course, you can pick up every single item. You can make this lot completely blank and start from scratch if you preferred. But like I said, by modifying a house, I think that's a really good starting point. So we're actually building the walls individually right now, as you can see, but you can also just use the selection tool, which is just your regular hand that we have now. And you can see we can pick up columns and remove them just like that because they're kind of in the way. And at the moment, you can see the house is all over the place. So we can select a room like we've just done there, like select and drag it. So you can sort of just push and pull walls, which I think is so useful on the console because it makes changing rooms a lot easier. And you can see like we've got these two separate rooms here that aren't quite joined, but we can actually just click on the wall here, drag it out and make it all one space and one room, which is super useful. It makes it a lot quicker to build. I can honestly say if we couldn't drag the walls like that, it would be a lot harder. But that you can see we've now just made that all one room just like that. And of course, so the controls in this, which I haven't really gone into much detail right now. The way it works is the whole menu in the UI. You toggle between the menu and the UI and then moving the cursor around the screen. So right now we're in cursor mode where we sort of move it around with the thumbsticks. Then on the PS4, you click on the touchpad, or on the Xbox One, you'll click the little select button with the two squares, and that will toggle between the cursor and the UI. And once we're in UI mode, which you'll see here and there throughout this video, it will snap to elements of the UI and it will have like a little, so you can see that little almost laser beam kind of thing like flying across the screen there. That's so you know where you are. And that actually works really well because you can sort of see which direction the cursor is going, where exactly it's snapped to at the point. And it makes it really clear to see where you are around the UI, which is good because this is typically almost like a PC game UI. Well, not almost. It is a PC game UI because it's the same as the one on the PC. But the way they've done it and made it work on the console is actually pretty impressive. I gotta be honest, like it took a little while to get used to, but because I already knew where stuff was, that was really handy. And I think for those of you just joining to play The Sims 4 on console as well, if you did want to learn how the UI worked, there are 3 years of videos on YouTube of The Sims 4, which is exactly the same, which is great. In terms of what you can actually do in build mode in The Sims 4 on console is pretty much everything. So obviously we've only just built stuff at the moment, like we're just building walls, we're painting the walls, we're getting columns down, windows and doors. Well, actually I think we're about to do doors soon. Oh no, I think we're about to do windows. Oh, and doors, I guess. Yeah, so you can do all that stuff. All the color choices are there as well. But of course, you can do all the furnishing and all the interior design stuff, which we'll get into very shortly. So we are gonna speed this up in a little bit just so we can get through it a bit quicker because I wanted to keep it real time at the beginning here so you can just see how it actually works because it's all well and good to just see a house build from start to finish all sped up, but unless we actually view it as it's happening in real time, you don't really get a good feel of how this all sort of works and flows. And you can see that I think it actually works pretty well. Like it took me a little while to get used to, but once I was into it, it seemed to be pretty easy and pretty fluid, and I was having a lot of fun. I kind of just sat down for a couple hours and I was like, you know what? This is cool. I could see myself sitting on my couch playing The Sims 4, which is pretty sweet. So obviously here we are now speeding up a little bit so we can get through it. But now that we've got a really good look at how the game works in real time, I think speeding it up here from start to finish in the build is going to give you a really good idea of the depth of content that's actually on the Sims 4 on console, because I think it's really important to note that unlike previous console games, which I have been playing here on my channel recently, the previous Sims console games, this is the full Sims experience on console. And I think a really good way to show that is with a full house build, because that's what I like to do on my channel. I love to build houses, so I thought this is the perfect way. So what you can do in this is as much as you want, really. I mean, you can go up to a 50 by 50 lot. You can go 4 levels high, 2 basement levels. Obviously, I've only done a 1-story house in this particular video just because I was limited in time whilst I was at the event. I would have loved to sit down for hours and hours and hours to just continue building. I did this over the course of about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit less. So it didn't actually take too long, especially because I was new. Basically, I had just sat down. I'm trying to learn the game, so that was actually pretty good that it only took me that amount of time. So it's cool. So this is kind of like a little modern contemporary home. You can see all the different types of windows and everything that we have in there, which is good. Because I think the really cool thing about this is because it is a game like The Sims 4 as a franchise has existed since 2013. It is... Well, 2014. It was announced in 2013. Anyway, it's existed since 2014, like in terms of being released. It has been updated over the past 3 years, and all of those updates are already in console. So anything that you know and love from the PC or that you've seen and you're like, oh man, I wish I could play this on console. Like, I think that's what's really cool, because that's actually a question I always get is people going like, is this coming to console? Is this on console? And it's like, Actually, well, after they announced The Sims 4 on console, like a couple of weeks ago, like they announced it, when did they announce it? Like at Gamescom? But anyway, like 2 weeks ago, someone's like, is this coming to PS4? And I'm like, well, yeah, it is, actually. Which is something that's not often able to be answered like that, which is kind of cool. Like, when someone asks, is this game coming to console? It's usually like, no. But anyway, like I think that it's super cool because it is the full Sims experience, and I am pretty excited to have like a whole new audience of players as well. I think what I've always found most fun about The Sims is that we can do as little as we want to this build, or we can do as much as we want. Because like right now on the roof, I was like, okay, we've got this roof. It is looking a bit flat though, and I was like, maybe if we use this half wall here to just add a little bit of sort of more verticality to the roof, I guess, just give it a bit more dimension. That was the idea of that. And then we also used some floor trims very quickly there on the sort of lower sections of the roof. So they got this nice like white trim going around the outside of it. So you get all these like little bits and pieces that you can put around the place that you don't have to if you don't want to, but it's there. Like that's what I've always loved about The Sims. It's just like all those little details that you can do, or you could just never do it and never worry about it. I don't know. For me, I love just doing the little details here and there. It's so much fun. Anyway, so we're outside now. Well, I'm out now. What am I saying? We are still outside, putting a nice pool. I mean, we're in the desert. You got to have a pool, right? So let's get a pool out the back on this nice little patio area that we have here. Some pool ladders, all that kind of stuff. Get some nice landscaping as well with hedges and all that. Because, of course, we do have pools. We have hedges. We have trees. And what I think is super cool, we have full cheats here on console as well. So we have the testing cheats, which enables you to make your Sims happy all the time, teleport them around. We also have the build mode cheats, like move objects, so we can intersect objects. Basically a no-clip kind of cheat, so we can put objects inside of each other, overlap them, and you can see it working here now where we overlap the hedges. And I think that is great. That is really, really good, because that means, again, it is literally the full Sims experience with cheats, because if there was no cheats, that'd not be good, but there is. I was so excited. I was really excited by that. So excited that I just hit my desk. So that is great. That is really, really good news. So around the front here, getting some nice floor tiles down there, a little pathway leading up to the home. But I think we might just jump forward here to get into some furnishing. So now that we're happy with the way the house looks on the outside, you know, it's got this nice contemporary modern look with a nice swimming pool out the back. I even chucked down a barbecue over there, as you can see. Let's head inside. Let's get some lights so we can just make the place look a little bit brighter. So we've got a couple of rooms here. This is our bathroom here. Oh, that's actually really cool. So we can also scale up items. Obviously, scaling up a toilet to make it huge and giant, probably not that practical, but scaling up other items, like there's some rugs in the game that can scale up nicely, or like a painting on the wall, you could scale that up. Those usually work pretty well for just more versatility with decoration, which is great. But yeah, here I am just choosing some nice decorations of the bathroom, getting all the colors to look like look well together, look good together is what I meant to say. But yeah, so we can sort the objects by function or by room. I found that specifically using a controller, sorting by room was the best way to go. So you can just see each room, select which items you want. That seemed to be my preferred method of construction anyway. So just getting a couple of little plants around the place to make it a little bit more green, give it some more color, some more detail and decoration. So we've got a bunch of beds here to choose from. I actually didn't know where the bedroom was in this house until just then. That's why I had decided. I was like, I haven't actually thought this through. But yeah, the bedroom's over here on the right-hand side. So you can see there, actually, perfect example. I scaled up that painting to fill up the wall, which is great because that's just a whole nother level of detail and creativity that we can put into houses, which is always really good to have. Another really useful feature as well is that we can actually toggle the grid snapping. So I've slowed this section down just to sort of illustrate it a little bit better. So normally it snaps to the grid in whole tiles, but we can actually toggle that so we can get completely free placement just like that and place it wherever we want. Obviously, I've also got the move objects cheat on, so that meant I could place it through a wall if I had liked to do that. But yeah, so we can have the grid snapping on to make things easier to align. We can turn it off to get complete freedom, which again is something that's really useful when it comes to placing plants or decorations like that, because they tend to I tend to like to put them wherever I want, but like a couch, I might want perfectly centered in the wall, so the grid is really useful for that. So we have our nice little bedroom there coming together. Nice little sofa as well to sit down on and just relax. Yeah, so again, there is basically endless possibilities with this, which is pretty sweet. I think we're about to move on to doing the living room and kitchen as well, which I think one of my favorite things is always, I don't know, I love doing kitchens. It's just fun. I don't know what it is about it, especially open plan kitchen, living and dining areas. Always one of my favorite things to build. So we've got a very simple one here, a little stove, a fridge, and just a few little decorative items there. Just a little plant on the stove. No, a plant on the counter just there. And we've essentially built our house from scratch. Well, not quite from scratch. Like I said, it was a good idea to start with an existing house and just mold it the way we wanted. Of course, you could do all of this from scratch. But now we have a fully customized house that is exactly to our liking, which I think is really cool. Or you can just live in one that already exists and change it here and there as you please. But I think the really cool thing is that for the first time, we have I keep saying it, but we have a full Sims experience on console. And I think that is super exciting because that really does expand the audience of The Sims. And at least I'm very excited for it. And you can see I only played maybe about 30 minutes before I started doing this build video. So I was already used to the controls. It takes a little bit of time. But again, this is also pre-alpha stuff. So it could improve and it will be even better when it releases, which I think is pretty exciting to see. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy this sort of semi-informational, informative build video from The Sims 4 on PS4. And thanks again to EA for sponsoring it and taking me out to San Francisco to check it out early. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Leave any comments or suggestions down below. Thanks again for watching and have an awesome day.